Hi, my name is Brian. Welcome to this journey through political campaigns and advocacy careers. Today we are going to study the chapter, which is Tools and Tactics for Political Campaigns and Advocacy. In this chapter, we'll explore how campaigns use different methods, from grassroots organizing to digital outreach, to influence voters and bring about political change. We will also look at the economics behind these strategies, so you can understand not just what works, but why it works. Grassroots organizing and door-to-door canvassing. Grassroots organizing means building a campaign starting from the community level. It involves recruiting volunteers, creating local leadership, and using neighborhood teams to connect with people directly. Economically, it is powerful because volunteer time replaces expensive paid media. For example, $1 spent on grassroots work can generate $4 to $8 worth of equivalent exposure. We can see this in campaigns like Bernie Sanders' 2016, which relied on small donations and volunteer energy, or Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez 2018, who won despite being outspent 18-1. Door-to-door canvassing, meanwhile, is one of the most effective persuasion methods. It increases turnout by about 7% and costs far less per vote than other approaches. Deep 10-minute conversations can change voter intention by 12%, showing the value of personal engagement. Voter targeting and digital outreach campaigns don't try to talk to every single voter equally. That would waste time and money. Instead, they use data to decide who to persuade, who to mobilize, and who to ignore. This targeting is like an economic optimization problem. Limited resources, so you put them where you get the highest return in. For example, they may use support scores or turnout scores to decide who gets more attention. Micro-targeting can cut wasted outreach by up to 40%. At the same time, campaigns must watch for diminishing returns. After 4 to 7 contacts, extra outreach doesn't change much. Digital tools like NGP Van or peer-to-peer texting have transformed this process. They make outreach faster, cheaper, and more personalized, but they also create competition where every campaign must adopt the latest tech to keep up. Campaign narratives and public debates, numbers, and policies are important, but in politics, stories often matter more. Robert Shiller's idea of narrative economics explains that voters respond to stories that connect with their values and daily experiences. For example, instead of talking about inflation, a candidate might say prices at the pump and grocery store. Campaigns test and refine these narratives to make them emotionally powerful. In debates, candidates use strategic thinking, a bit like game theory, anticipating opponent moves, balancing attacks and self-promotion, and speaking to specific voter groups. Even if you have the facts on your side, delivery and positioning can decide how the audience sees you. Media engagement and political advertising media engagement is about getting earned media, coverage you don't pay for, like news stories and interviews, as well as using paid advertising. To get coverage, campaigns may create newsworthy events, send surrogates to speak in media, and drive social media engagement so traditional media picks it up. Earned media can be worth billions, as seen in Trump's 2016 campaign. Political advertising, on the other hand, is expensive. $8.5 billion was spent in 2020, with more than half on digital, but its effect on vote share is usually small, often just 1 to 3%. Early spending brings better returns than last-minute splurges, and there are economic inefficiencies due to limited ad space and regulation. Community mobilization and non-violent protest. Community mobilization is about keeping people engaged beyond elections. This means building leadership in underrepresented groups, running year-round issue campaigns, and forming coalitions. Economically, it's like investing in social capital, the relationships and networks that can be activated in future elections. Georgia's transformation from 2020 to 2022 shows how multi-year organizing can register hundreds of thousands of new voters and create lasting change. Nonviolent protests are another tool. Research shows movements involving at least 3.5% of the population have never failed to create significant change. They create economic disruption, attract media, and shift public opinion without alienating the broader public.